Today I wanted to talk about the overtime laws. This is actually one of those areas of the law that I don't initially get many calls about, but that once I start talking to someone, we sometimes find out that they have a claim. So in 1938, Congress passed the Fair Labor Standards Act, known as FLSA. That is where we get the federal prohibition on making people work more than 40 hours in a week without paying them time and a half. A lot of people have heard of overtime. Some people get paid overtime at their jobs, but a lot of people are salaried. A lot of people are not paid overtime. So the question that I always ask is, number one, how many hours do you work in a week? If it's less than 40, overtime is a non-issue. But if a person works more than 40 hours in a week, the question is, how are they paid, and is the way that they're paid legal? Under the FLSA, in general, all employees, the standard rule is that all employees, if they work more than 40 hours in a week, have to be paid time and a half for hours worked over 40. But of course, the devil's in the details. There are many, many, many exceptions to the overtime law. For example, teachers are exempt. They don't have to be paid overtime. Doctors don't have to be paid overtime. Lawyers don't have to be paid overtime. That is the professional exception. Also, executives don't have to be paid overtime, people that manage 2 or more employees. Also, and this is a very hard one, administrative exception. So what does that mean? Some people might think, oh, well, that means administrative people, admins, we might call them, people that work as secretaries. That is not actually at all what that exemption means. So a person who works as a secretary ordinarily does have to be paid overtime. I would say that is one of the common places where the law is violated. The people who work in offices are paid salary, not paid time and a half for hours worked over 40, and there's no good reason for it because the secretary actually doesn't fall within that definition. What administrative is meant to cover is people who administer a business. And those people often can be found in the executive exemption too. So VPs, people who manage things, people who administer the business. In addition to those 3 broad categories of exceptions, there are also exceptions having to do with being a truck driver. If you are a truck driver meeting certain conditions, you don't get overtime either. So the FLSA is one of those laws where the law can easily be violated. A person could easily have a cause of action, or they could easily fall into one of those exceptions and then they are not covered. The FLSA is a good law for plaintiffs, employees, meaning that if it's violated, often you would be owed your back wages, often with significant statutory penalties. So the FLSA and the overtime laws are ones that are important for people to think about. They are highly fact-specific, like most things, but I would say it's one of the most fact-specific employment laws that we have. So, as I always say, if you want an actual in-depth analysis of your situation, you can give me a call at 312-479-3014.